So SAMDB is covering the Cape Town International Film Market and Festival, and we are here speaking to Sean Cassar, who is an international filmmaker, documentary filmmaker, and we're speaking to him about his entry into the festival.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Cool. So first of all, tell us about you and what exactly brings you to Cape Town.
Well, you pretty much nailed it on the head. I have a film which was officially selected for the Cape Town Film Festival. It's a travel show per se, but we've made a feature length in order to get more recognition. And I thought, where better place to get recognition than Cape Town, considering we're focusing on philanthropy and that sort of aspect. I think there's a lot of opportunity to do some work here, you know?
Okay, cool. Tell me more about the actual movie. It's called the...
Developing Destinations.
Developing Destinations.
Yeah, so what it is, like I said, it's more of a travel show, so it'll be an ongoing series, which we've made into a feature-length production for this particular purpose. But the first episode focuses on Nepal.
Nepal, home to Hindus, Muslims, Buddhists, and Christians alike. Nepal lies along the Himalayas, hosting both the world's deepest gorge and, of course, the highest peak on the entire planet, Mount Everest.
So we have an hour-length episode on Nepal and the earthquakes of 2015, where it took the lives of nearly 9,000 people, or over 9,000 people now, because the death toll keeps rising with the more people that they discover, and also the monsoons as a result of the earthquake is taking out a lot more of the housing and things like that.
So you told me earlier that you actually arrived on the day of one of the earthquakes, the second. Tell us more about that.
Yes, so I flew over there for the original earthquake, which had happened 2 weeks before, and on the 12th, when I arrived, I think it was the 12th of May, it was the second big earthquake, the second biggest one to hit in over 80 years. And 2 hours after I arrived, we were in the middle of having a conversation and meeting the people, and I hadn't planned to start filming until the next day. And boom, earthquake hit, and we had to pretty much go from there. So we were on the move, ready to move, pretty much had to be ready to move. Luckily we were filming at the time, but we grabbed all the equipment and took it out and investigated. And obviously there was a few buildings which had come down, so we had to prepare ourselves mentally and physically for that.
We didn't realize it at the time. We had just survived the second largest major earthquake to hit Nepal since 1934.
Wow, okay. That sounds like quite the experience. Yeah. So what made you choose Nepal in the first place? What exactly was going through your head?
Well, we had just filmed an episode in Vanuatu, which was meant to be the pilot. However, from my experience in the US, which is where the show was originally targeted for, Vanuatu didn't have a high marketability aspect to it. So we wanted to obviously finish off the Vanuatu trip, but once the Nepal earthquake happened, we knew that the world was hearing about it, was getting a lot of coverage, and because of that reason, we thought that the interest from the audience would be higher, and we would captivate them a little more, and then lead into other topics like Vanuatu or smaller countries or areas that people didn't hear about. And obviously, I'd always wanted to do an episode in Nepal. And I think that was just the perfect time to get over there and try to help, because that's essentially what we're trying to do by spreading awareness and showing it in an artistic way.
Okay, so what is your sort of objective? You said creating awareness. I mean, do you get involved yourselves?
Yes. So generally the story follows myself. I produce, but I also host the show. And I will be, in each episode, traveling to different locations, but also helping rebuild, maybe delivering supplies and things like that, and talking with military, politicians, the locals as well, and sort of trying to get a well-rounded aspect, of well-rounded coverage of what is actually happening there. And we will travel to these areas and help rebuild houses, and actually, for example, in Nepal, we actually make the bamboo, put them together, put the muds on the wall, because we made a lot of mud houses and things, and then we will actually fly by helicopter. So it's really for an interactive way for the audience to kind of get caught up with the story and sort of really understand what the people are going through. It's sometimes on the news you can see someone with a different look, a different face, a different voice, a different tongue, and it's hard to sort of put yourself in their position. But if the audience can see someone that they can relate to, I feel like they will get more connection with the
empathy.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, it sounds like you've got a very interesting concept that you've got going. Like, what do you consider to be your greatest strengths? What makes you different? What is your niche compared to other travel shows?
Well, my strengths and what is different is two different things, but my strengths would be that I am quite passionate about this project. I have been wanting to do something that would sort of excel in the industry which I'm in, which is the film and television industry, but also give something back to the world. So I have my own personal reasons why I want this to succeed, and I don't stop. If I set my mind to something, then I follow through with it, which is a big aspect. The difference between this and other travel shows is, as far as I know, there's not any other shows which focus on these topics as their main objectives of the show. There is major productions that I know of that focus on food, and then they will travel to a country which has been affected by natural disaster and touch on the issues a little bit. But our main goal is to raise awareness of these issues and donations as well. So the audience members will have an opportunity to donate at the end of the episode. Then we can also, we have plans to organize travel consultancy agencies through this, where countries where and destinations where the location is safe to go, we can organize for cheaper travel for the audience members if they want to book to go to, say, Nepal, and the earthquakes have died down and it's actually a safe place to be, because these earthquakes happen maybe once every 100 years or so. Then they can start booking through agencies and things like that, and just trying to really build tourism in these areas so they can get the economy back up. And a lot of the people there don't want the handouts, they just want to do things for themselves, but
Sure.
a lot of these places rely on tourism. So
Sure.
yeah.
Do you have any memorable? What are your most memorable experiences of Nepal?
Memorable experiences. Well, the earthquake was up there on the memorable experience.
Fair enough.
I mean, it's a beautiful country, and I remember going to Pokhara, and I was walking past this Buddhist temple on top of Ananda Hill, and I went in there and started. They do like little teachings on Buddhism and things like that, and the monk came up to me afterwards, and he says that he can see the inner Buddha inside of me. And he says it's quite strong.
Okay, wow.
I don't know how it's doing right now. I've been a little tired and stressed out with all the traveling, but at the time it was quite strong. And he says that it's unusual because a lot of people, they walk past the temple and they don't go in. It's the inner Buddha which pushes them back. But because I was in there for quite a while, he could sense the strength, which is and also another cool thing is the inner Buddha is meant to look like a diamond. So people with a weak inner Buddha, it's kind of a black coal, according to him.
Wow.
So,
Okay. Interesting.
that was a powerful experience.
Yeah, that sounds.
Yeah.
All right. So after the experience of Nepal, what next? What other places?
We have a few. So we have to finish off the Vanuatu episode. That's unfortunately been put a little bit to the side until we market this first one, because I think with the first episode that we have now, that will be enough to get the funding for the rest. So we've had some discussions with some networks. Things are looking promising. We're just trying to go with a network that we think is actually going to help, which it's a big thing. So we don't want to just bang out episodes really quickly and have like this reality TV show vibe to it.
Sure.
We try to create like a theatrical experience for the audience. So if you can imagine like a big movie, but it's real life, so people can really get sucked in.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Any other sort of dream, ideal destinations that you'd
Destinations,
like to go next?
yeah. Borneo. I would like to go to Borneo. South Africa was one of them for sure.
Bring it on.
Yes, exactly.
Bring it on.
I think that will be like in the first season. We'll definitely have try to get in a South African episode. There's a lot of things interesting about this country, and a lot of things we could focus on. Tourism as well. Like a lot of people may even have this misconstrued conception of South Africa being super dangerous or something like this. And I think if you're smart about it, then it doesn't have to be that sort of type of city, and we want to try to show the beauty of the city and also focus on helping the people that need it as well. So try to build hand in hand to sort of promote and help,
So my question is leading from that statement, as someone who has traveled quite widely and has how many citizenships you said around the world?
Yeah. Well, we won't go there on this show.
All right. But basically, you were very well traveled. In terms of your expectations of South Africa and what you got, how does the expectation versus the reality compare?
Say that again, please.
So what were your expectations of South Africa, and how would you compare that to your actual experience since coming here?
Well, actually, I didn't have an expectation at all. Because I hadn't looked into traveling here as for filmmaking. obviously you look into different aspects. But coming here for a festival, I'd only, my assistant had put the festival through and said we're in it, and then I said I hope I have time to come, and I hadn't had any chance to research it. I just booked the ticket one day before and then flew out here with no expectations. But since I've been here, I'm very, very impressed. It's such a really, really cool place. It has a lot to offer. Yeah.
Okay. So where do we catch your show? I mean, how do we see it?
Well, you catch it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Catch it tomorrow here at the Cape Town International Film Festival. And then apart from that, for now, if you want to see it, you're going to have to contact me through developingdestinations.com. And that way, if you're interested in talking about production and things like that, then we can have a sit down or do an interaction through Skype or something like this. At the moment, we're not releasing it online as it does have a major production value, and we want to maintain that value until the project has some serious clout behind it, you know.
Awesome.
So soon, hopefully on television, I would say, in the US and the rest of the world. So.
My name's Sean Cassar. I'm just an ordinary guy who travels to extraordinary destinations with the hopes to shed light on major world issues. Oh, and occasionally I get my hands dirty along the way. If there is one thing that I've learned from the Nepalese people, it's that you cannot live your life in fear. One must claim his or her own destiny. One must experience life. And in my opinion, one must experience Nepal.
Look forward to
Great.
welcoming you
Thank
in
you.
South Africa, and hopefully you're going to portray us very favorably because we're awesome.
Yes, yes, of course.
Cool. Thank you, and
Thank you.
enjoy the country. This is Dominica Jab signing out for SAMDB.